Alrighty, what is up guys? We're back at it. Gonna work on this 4-seater tube chassis. Missed a lot of days, I've been working nonstop, but since I last videoed, I got this rear frame section kind of assembled and the rear bumper put in place. I was kind of trying to prove to myself how my notching and bending system is gonna work coming off the rotary on my table. So the table makes the cuts for the notches, and I was putting a pierce, you can see that little dot right there. I was putting a pierce where I need to line up my bender. Worked out pretty good. So I assembled this rear section. Today I'm gonna be working on bending the front of the frame and the upper frame sections. On the table here, I've got all of my tubes prepped, all except for like 4 of them. So what I do basically, let's see if I can get it to focus. So off the table, it gets ground on the inside, the weld area gets ground, and then the tube gets dual action polished. I'm gonna give them a little bath with acetone but before I weld them, because I got some WD overspray as I was working on some aluminum today. But so I already got these 2 panels for the roof done. Let's see, it's not focusing. Got these 2 panels for the roof, or 2 tubes for the roof rather, done already. Bendtech is what I'm working with, so showed me my cut length, marked my bends and my rotations and the degrees of the bends. So I got those. These 2 tubes here are going to be the front frame section, so I'm gonna do those next and kind of take you through how you would use Bendtech if you don't have a tube cutter like the Dragon or some other rotary table like I have. So basically they give you your cut length. I'm about to mark my bend locations they give you, and then we're gonna throw them in the bender, and they basically tell you your rotation and your degree that you're gonna bend to. I'm gonna do this front tube up here, right here. So I click that, I do part details again, and then bend order. So I'm gonna maximize this. Basically, if you click the transitions up here in this area is gonna give you the bend locations. So I'm gonna mark this 23.946 and 36.665. Get those marked, and then basically it shows you a little animation for how you're gonna bend it. So you're gonna go to your first mark at 23.946, bend that to 20 degrees. You're gonna rotate the tube 92 degrees in the bender, and then move it to your second mark, and then you're gonna bend that to 68 degrees. So my start up here, we're gonna measure 23.946. You wanna be as accurate as you can, but that's effectively 24. And then the next measurement is 36.665. So like 36 and 5/8. So I'm gonna mark that. Okay. Then I use this 3D printed tool that I got. This is what I use to find my degrees, but it's actually a really handy tool for marking all the way around the tube in a straight line. Get it moved up here. All right, so I got the tube chucked up in the bender. Basically what you do, you line your mark up with the die. I have my degree finder, but I haven't zeroed it yet. I like to zero them after I bend. So I got this air hydro cord. We're going for 20 degrees on this first bend. We're at 20 right there, but we need to account for spring back, so I'm gonna overbend it. Okay, before I release this, we got 2 jobs to do. So I'm gonna turn this on and zero this so that we know our rotation. Then I'm also going to find a tape measure. And we are going to measure the stroke of the ram. I found this to be the most accurate way to make a bend the same length. So we're at 10 and 3/16. So all right, 10 and 3/16 right here in this tube, and we'll be on our way for bend 2. So I wrote my 10 and 3/16, got that zeroed. Okay, I can't remember which direction we're supposed to rotate, so I'm gonna come back over to the laptop, we can restart this. So we're going to bend 1. That was what we just did. Okay, so we're gonna rotate it up 92 degrees. Gotcha. All right. Let's see if I can do this one-handed. So I'm just gonna pull that out. Line up our line. I need to close this a little more. Okay. Line up your line. Super tricky one-handed. Okay. All right, so we got that in. Okay, so then if we look back here at our angle finder, so we'll go to 90. So we went past it. All right, so you want to make sure you're on the right side of the 90. So if I rotate this clockwise, the number's going to get smaller. We're going for 92, which is actually 88 degrees on this guy. So we got 2 jobs. We got to make sure this line is where it needs to be. Make sure that's at 88 degrees. I like to take some of the slop out, so I'm going to actuate this just a little bit. Okay. All right, so like I said, make sure we are on the right side of 90, as close to 88 as we can get. 88.1, that 0.1 might work. Okay, there's our bend right on the line. Okay, and then we are bending this one 68 degrees, I believe. Start that. I'm gonna run over while that's bending. Boom, 68. Oh, dang. Gotta repin. So we're gonna loosen the ram. Pull this out, loosen the ram. As soon as that drops, we'll be good to go. Oh no, we ran our tool into it. Broke our tool. Alright, got the tool taken off. I think it's alright. Okay, so going for 68. There's 68. We're going to overbend it. And 5/8. Boom, we got a buggy. So basically, I got those notched. I ground them down a little bit. I hit my deal with the DA and sat them up. This one, for whatever reason, got a little bit short, so I got a little bit of a gap, but fits up good up front, nice and even. This bar popped in right where it's supposed to. Drop this in, and I mean, pretty much from here, I'm gonna get a couple welds on some things, but let's see. So I got this tube here. We got the frame diagonal. So this, boom. It quite literally just clicks where it's supposed to go. So that fits in there. Okay. We got a hood diagonal. Boom. And I mean, like, we're in. It's good. It's ready to weld. So that's obviously gravity's holding that one down a little bit, but I'll get some welds on some of these. Might have to grind these just a little bit so that we have room for the welds to pass through each other, because I like to weld each tube 100%. But yeah, that's gonna work. Boom. Now to do some welding and then get this top part on. All right, so in real time, this was about an hour and 45 minutes, and I'm gonna be doing this voiceover. I compressed it down for your viewing pleasure. I had to enlist my dad and my wife's help to get this top section stood up. You see me here going back and forth with a piece of angle iron and my angle finder to make sure that I'm getting my angles correct, making sure that everything's symmetrical and all that. Have to take a little bit off the notches on the driver's side. It was a little bit taller, so got it put back up, set back up our ratchet straps and our crossbars, get our B-pillar verticals put in there, and then looks like we're about ready to start working on the roof here in a second. Get that welded out. On the roof, it's a little tricky. The A-pillar spreader can't go in until the little V and the center is in there. So get those put up, end up adding another ratchet strap. You can see we got a ton of ratchet straps in here, holding stuff sideways, holding stuff front to back, making sure everything's square. This is going to be the last chassis that I assemble without a true chassis jig. I need something that'll help me make this quicker, easier, and more accurate. So if anyone has any ideas, I'm all ears for that. Get this front section kind of welded up, and then it's going to be time to work on the back. Looks like my dad's grabbing stuff for the back. It only has two back there, a V, so a lot quicker and easier back there. So we get those put in, and it's about time to call it a night. All right, so calling it a night. We have this front frame section in, it's squared. We got some cross squaring going on right now to make sure it's perfectly symmetrical. I did miss this node. That sucks. I guess I think I bent this one backwards, and so I had to trim it a little extra, and yeah, that was a swing and a miss. Either that, or I think I also overbent that by 1 degree. So kind of crazy how something doesn't really seem like a big deal, and then it does that. But with some skins on it, like this one will get, it really won't be a big deal. But yeah, so tomorrow I'll get a brake job on a Dodge, and then probably do a couple more tubes on this. Should be pretty quick from here. Since I got it squared up, I can do my diagonals at the B-pillar, I can do my door bars, I can do my diagonals up front. This bar up here is currently welded in, but it and these ones going across back to the firewall will have these tube adapters, so, or tube connectors, whatever you want to call them, so everything can be removable, so we can get this engine in and out. And I'm gonna try to cram a 5.3 in here, so stay tuned. Back at it, working on the buggy. Gonna be adding a bunch of the tubes today to kind of finish it up. I already did the V right here, put in my gussets up at the top of my windshield, and started working on these hood diagonals, and I was like, oh yeah, I should probably start filming, so here we are. Literally, boom. So get it tacked in. All right, so we want this bar to be removable so we can get the drivetrain in and out. So I'm gonna cut it out, add some tube clamps like we got in these hood diagonals. Tool of choice, Sawzall. All right, so the front end's pretty much done. I have, well, for tube work at least, we have all the tubes in place. A lot of it's welded. I'm gonna have to obviously weld some more, but letting everything cool down. Hopefully we got enough room for an LS in here. This is removable. The two diagonals on the hood are removable. Shocks are gonna come up through here. I'm gonna make a cool little plate mount that comes up and over. I'm gonna do a flat aluminum hood on this one. I have two 8-inch LEDs on the way. Now it's time to do the door bars, the A-pillar supports, and all my B-pillar bracing for the diagonals. I have some diagonals that go here. I have a bar that goes across to the back for seatbelt harnesses for the rear seat. And I have one more bumper bar. And then I think I'm gonna make a tube, so I messed that up last night. I think I overbent this by a degree, and then I didn't have the rotation on this properly to make it match up. So I might put I'm gonna put a gusset here like I did in my last chassis, but I might put something here as well. We will see. Coming together pretty good so far. I use this jig that I made. It's literally just a piece of angle iron. You can't even really call it a jig. So what this does is ensure that my angles are all good and everything looks straight, because it is straight. It's as easy as that. Go figure, I forgot to finish filming everything. I got all the diagonals of the B pillar done, the A pillar supports, and the chassis is pretty much there.